Good evening. The story you're about to witness is one of romance and tragedy, primal murder, and the urge for revenge. What better way to spend a pleasant evening together? One minute I can see the light, like the beam of a train engine hurtling past. The next minute, all was darkness, and the threads that I pulled came away in my fingers and led to nothing. I believe it was the greatest case of my career. But who am I to say? Modesty forbids it. It was certainly the most difficult I had ever encountered, and it made me question my very deepest values I'd held since I was a young man. It began in the exotic city of Istanbul. I planned a vacation there for several weeks following a trying case that was getting on my nerves. But things began changing the moment I stepped into the dining room of the world-famous Talking Hen Hotel, where the enormity of the prices was only matched by the self-esteem of the waiters. My name, incidentally, is Hercule Poirot, and I am a detective.
Hello, my name is Adam Delka. I am the theater director here at Bridgeland High School, Troop 8503 in Cypress, Texas.
And hello, I'm Nathan Stanaland, the technical director here at Bridgeland High School.
And we are presenting to you our concept and scenes from Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express, adapted by Ken Ludwig.
Trot?
I hope that the food at this humble establishment is up to our usual standards.
What's this? Mon Dieu! It is Monsieur Book!
My friend!
Mwah, mwah, mon ami! What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? This is my city. I live here.
Of course,
I run
fool.
I run Wagonlit, the greatest train company in the entire world. And the central office is in this hotel. Garçon, please, charge my office. This meal is on me.
Oh, no.
Oui, it will give me pleasure. You're my guest here. So, tell me, what are you doing here? You're solving a crime, eh?
No. I did it last week in Syria. It was a bad affair. An army officer, a missing check, a beautiful woman. It did not end well. It was unfortunate in the extreme, and yet I believe I did nothing wrong.
Of course you did nothing wrong. If you break the law, you must pay the price. That is what you have told me.
It is what I live by.
Now, tell me, you are staying here at the hotel, no?
I was hoping, eh? I was going to play the tourist, but there was a telegram from Scotland Yard at the front desk begging me to return at once. So I asked the concierge to get me a ticket for tonight on your world-famous Orient Express.
It will be no problem. And the best part is, I will be joining you, for I go to business tonight. I go to Lausanne tonight for business.
C'est magnifique.
Pardon, monsieur, but the concierge wanted me to let you know that there are no more first-class tickets for the express tonight. It is sold out.
No.
Attends, it is my train and it is never sold out at this time of year. That is ridiculous.
It must be a part of your
Well,
campaign.
you tell the concierge to find berth for Monsieur Perrault. He is my personal friend.
But monsieur...
The number 7 is always available. It is held on reserve. Now go, tell him.
Right away, monsieur.
Merci.
It is nothing. A gesture, please. Now, you see this menu? Throw it away. Tonight, we shall sit on the train together, just like old times, and we shall dine like kings.
The food on the train, is it edible?
Monsieur, you stab me in the heart. It is not a mere train that will carry you tonight. It is a legend. The best food, the best beds, the best pillows, the best feathers inside the pillows. It is poetry on wheels. And Lord Byron himself could not write it better. Monsieur, prepare yourself. In 1 hour, I will meet you on the platform of the Orient Express.
For the scenic design, it is basically, again, a large train car, 28 feet wide, 16 feet deep. It is a revolving set. So on one side, we will have the dining car, and on the other side, we'll have the sleeping quarters of Perrault, Miss Hubbard, and Ratchet. And switch back and forth. The one additional set piece would be from when Colonel Arbuthnot and Marie Debenham are in the back, like almost like a caboose idea, with the railing that would roll on and then of course roll off. Overall, the design concept is to have that opulent colors of burgundies, reds, crimsons, and of course golds, where I find the Orient Express to be somewhat asymmetrical also, where each room has a different type of wallpaper that fits the character. And even in the dining car, it's not table and chair, table and chair, table and chair. It's asymmetrical, where I feel, as Book talked about, the taps from New York and the bedding from Paris, that no expense should have been spared when creating this train car. The idea of having the audience see this massive set move from one side to the other, and even having the characters go from one train car to the next a few times throughout the play. For the lighting design, we wanted the ideas of those to carry that jewel tone feel through, with deep reds, deep blues, and even as for the flashbacks to have some side lighting idea, that as we're again going into the past. For sound, we wanted to stick with much more of the traditional soundtrack, again in the script, the Flight of the Bumblebee, and there are specific sounds that Ken Ludwig asked for. So we wanted to keep those, and again have those throughout for the transitions. But also adding some of our own flair and some of the sound effects and such as well. So the big reveal of our train car will be from Act 1, Scene 2 to Act 1, Scene 3, where we're from in a restaurant in this hotel, and of course a platform. We decided to use drops from Kinmark or from theatrical backdrops, and have the scenery downstage of those, and then the train already being preset upstage of the drops. And of course having that big reveal to see this 28 foot by 10 foot tall unit that again is with those jewel tones, to be very striking for the audience. And again, just to go from this smaller scenery of tables and chairs to this massive, larger piece of scenery. In our costumes of people, we carry some of these jewel tones and stuff for our costumes. So Mr. Duck will tell us about some of those.
So our costumes, you're actually going to see a lot of the costumes on the actors in the video. So we're not presenting renderings to you. You're going to see the actual costumes that they're wearing. And we're still in production phase, but like Mr. Stanland said, we're sticking to very rich colors, the early 1930s, late 1920s vibe with the opulence, kind of tail end of that Gatsby flapper era, but into that nice 1930s realm, where the rich still had a little bit of money to travel and have a lifestyle that would be required for trips on the Orient Express. Certain characters represented with certain colors, sort of stereotypical, with the evil villain being in all black, and then little hints of red throughout because of the hint of the trail of blood. So you'll see a little bit of that throughout the costume design. There are certain characters that will have very strong, bold, simple, monochromatic looks, and then there are certain characters that are a little more fragrant with their personalities, a little more live and boisterous. So you'll see that in their personalities, but also in their costume design. We also like to wig our students here, especially the females. So you can see lots of period design, specific styled wigs, and even some fake mustaches, because Perot is supposed to have a mustache that looks over the top and fake. So you'll see that today. Our students are also aging themselves drastically. So you'll see in the video up close the stage makeup, where you'll see the age lines, the crinkle effect on their face, the sagginess and droopiness, and in some cases even the paleness of that age can kind of bring to aged people, I guess. I don't know, does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. So tell us about how we came up with the idea of the decision to do the Murder on the Orient Express.
This is our first year at Bridgeland to have what we're calling a varsity production class. And traditionally we do the UIL theatrical design project every year in our classes as a project. But with our varsity group, we thought it would be a great opportunity to not only do the UIL theatrical design process, but also we could perform the show in this class. So we're doing a public performance weekend of this production, which from today will open in about 2 weeks. So we're still in pre-production mode as far as set build and costumes. So what you're gonna see today is just a very, very sparse vision of the set. you're not going to see the fully realized production of that. But we've decided to do all of this because we wanted to give the students a real full immersive opportunity for the UIL theatrical design, but also perform it. It's a good script. It's a fun script. We read it in class. They enjoyed it. They really tapped into the characters of all of them. They're so interesting, and trying to find the comic bits that Ken Lugwood added into the script that's not really present in the original Agatha Christie version.
She is quite a character.
They're all characters. If it was Balzac, I would write a novel about all of them.
And just think, for 3 days these strangers are brought together in the close quarters, eating and sleeping under a single roof.
And then, at the end, they part, never to see each other again.
Unless
Unless what?
there's an accident. Or something fatal occurs.
Monsieur, why do you say such a thing?
Forgive me, it is my business.
No more business, please. You must now succumb to nothing but pleasure. For you are about to step aboard the pride of the company wagonette for the most memorable journey of your entire life.
Well, ain't this just the bee's knees? Maybe I'll move in for good.
Right this way, madam, and please, watch your step.
Is it snowing out there?
We get a lot of it this time of year, I am afraid. Last year we got stuck in snow for 7 days.
7 days? Well, was there liquor on board?
We always have plenty.
Oh, well, now I can breathe again. I eat solid food, but only if it's cooked in bourbon. Well, as they say in the movies, lead on, Macduff. Greta, you must keep up, keep up. We have to get settled before the train starts moving.
I must confess to you, princess, that I am not liking trains since I am little girl.
But we will be sitting next to each other, duh?
That part is good. Once I am on train in Africa, and I look up from my book, and sitting there next to me, right on the seat, is a very old goat. It's true. It's true. He is like my companion. And on these trips that we are taking together right now, I think it will not be so different. Yeah? Oh.
Mr. Perot, slow up. I discussed that proposition I mentioned.
I am afraid it is not a good time, monsieur.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I am afraid.
Sit down.
Eh bien, proceed.
Now, I'd like to discuss job offer.
I take on a few new cases.
We'll take on this one, I guarantee it.
And why is that?
Because I'm talking big money here, Mr. Perot. You see, I have an enemy. I've been getting some threatening letters recently, and I need someone to keep an extra pair of eyes open for snooping. That's what you do, am I right? Snooping? I can take care of myself, of course, but I'll pay you $5,000. How does that sound?
No.
Fine. $10,000 for a few days' work.
I am not for sale, monsieur. I am very fortunate in my profession, and I now take cases only as interest me. And frankly, you do not interest me.
Well, what do you want me to do? Grovel?
I want nothing, monsieur, except to leave.
Pardon me. Sorry.
You're that countess, aren't you?
That is correct.
Well, you're awfully pretty. But I hear you were a commoner to start off with, just like the rest of us.
That is also correct.
So wouldn't you have a drink with me?
I'm married, monsieur. My husband's having business elsewhere. Now please excuse me.
Hold on just 1 minute. Who the hell knows what's gonna happen on a private compartment in some 2-bit old...
Stay away from me!
Oh, Mr. Ratchet, there you are. I've been looking for you. I put your glass of wine next to your bed, and if there's nothing else you need for the
Shut up, Hector! Just shut up!
Aha, my friends! I hope that you are settling in all right and enjoying yourselves. It won't be long now until the train... Aha, not long at all. The journey begins. I wish you both good luck and Godspeed.
We build our sets here, and how I think about the design process is kind of like building a cake where what's the big things? What's the most important things to build, and then that next layer of what makes it look good, and then of course the sprinkles on top of what really puts it over the top. So first we have our platforms that we made into wagons, again that 28 feet by 16 feet. I had some of my Tech 1 classes put those together, as well as our crew members, over about two or 3 days. And then the past couple of days we've been putting together our walls, and luckily today we're able to finally start putting those walls up. So now we're going from kind of the 2D realm of everything being on the floor to finally into the 3D realm of really putting walls up. And that helps the actors as well, so no longer spike tape on the floor and kind of guessing. So now it's really, here's where the window is, where you look out for after Ratchet's death, and here's the window you look out to see where'd Perot go. So then we've got our molding that will come in later. We started gold leafing some furniture, which is something we haven't done here. So a lot of little extras that we're adding on to make it just over the top to get to that all those sprinkles and that sprinkle phase.
Our idea is to make the train itself look as opulent as possible. We're bringing in lots of different textures and patterns for the wallpaper. You'll see those in the video. You'll see that there are hints of even a little bit of Art Deco design and a little bit of sprinkles of Art Nouveau because we're at the tail end of those two design eras. So the fully realized version will have all of that viewable by the audience. We're excited about that. And I would also like to brag because most of our students are working on this.
Absolutely. I love the fact of how I like to run the program is the students build 90% of the stuff. Yeah. I'm running 2 or 3 different teams, and then as a freshman they learn, as a sophomore they're beginning to have a project, as a junior they're leading a team, and as a senior they're leading multiple teams. So they're going from that entry level, I'm building and learning, to supervisor and managerial role, and that's fantastic to see the students' growth.
Greta, it is I. Slow down.
Oh, good morning, princess.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My fault. Good morning. Sir? Mr. Ratchet? Are you awake, sir? Hello?
Is something wrong?
He's not answering, and, the door's locked.
Monsieur Ratchet, are you alright?
The passkey, perhaps.
Of course.
Oh, I hope he is not being ill.
There is a chain.
Hello?
You must force the door.
It will break and needs repairing.
Quickly! Do not feel the air from the room. It is freezing.
Quickly!
Oh, I do not like this at all.
Mr. Ratchet?
Not touch anything! Not a speck!
But it is human life! It is wrong!
Princess, could you please escort Miss Olsen to her room, please?
Come along, Greta.
Holy cow! There has never been such a thing in the history of my company!
Oh my god, it's her!
What happened?
Quickly, this way!
Where did it come from? I couldn't tell!
What's going on?
Hey, Mr. Redhead!
Oh, dear God!
What's happening?
I had a gunshot.
Push!
Push hard.
I'm trying! God almighty!
Touch nothing! Ladies and gentlemen, I have brought you all together in order to reveal to you the killer of Monsieur Samuel Ratchet, also known as Bruno Cassetti. The facts of the case cannot be more simple. At 5 o'clock this evening, they left the train to Istanbul all the way to Calais. At approximately 12:30 last night, there was a snowdrift which forced the train to stop. At 10 o'clock last evening, Mr. Cassetti was found dead, murdered with 8 stab wounds to the chest. These are facts. C'est tout, c'est fini. However, these facts permit 2 possible solutions to the crime. Under the first solution, Mr. Cassetti had an enemy which he brought on a wagon-knit uniform, then used a pass key in order to get into his compartment. Then after that, he stabs a man 8 times. That is a fact, and that is true. Then he went into Mrs. Albert's compartment.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Here, here.
Well done, my friend. You have solved the case.
No, I have not yet finished. Let me propose to you a second solution.
So taking our show from our space to the Gaylord, I think is absolutely possible. Each unit can be broken down into 8 feet by 8 feet for all of the walls, and anything, the crown molding will be able to come off. Of course, any of the furniture will be able to be stored. The wagons can come apart and stack easily for transport. And overall, we'll just need about a 30 to a 32-foot circle for the space to rotate completely around. So it is a massive unit, it is a big unit, but once it's set, again, just spins around. And then of course is taken apart fairly easy, and then of course put back into our truck.
And if we needed to minimize it,
Correct.
it is possible to bring it in if it's too large.
100%.
And it was designed originally with the purpose of this opportunity to travel the show.
For sure.
So the design element was already there for the traveling opportunity. And then anything you'd like to say about your experience of traveling with a group?
We have where my experience from summer stock to working in DC to working in Las Vegas is always the idea of, does the show need to travel? Does it need to be stored? And usually always on the lower end of it, so not in the planning phase until we started here with UAL and of course this show, but always on the idea of, are we going to store this show at Shakespeare? They take every show, Shakespeare Theater in DC, they take every show and store it for 2 years and then bring a show back for free-for-all, which is a fantastic opportunity. At the Alley, ours was, do we need to store this? Or Christmas Carol comes back every year, so they need to bring it out of storage and they can redo any touch-ups. At Music Theater Wichita, we built all of our musicals that are meant to be rented out for years to come. So it's always the idea of, how do we make sure this is going to work for the longevity of this production.
And those are previous places you worked?
Correct, yeah, all places we've worked in. Even in Las Vegas, we would always bring in truckloads of lighting and then bring it all up out of road cases with the drafts, put everything up, light it, make sure it works, and then pack it all up and send it back on the truck a week later.
And of course, we're used to the UIL process, so we understand that it's portable and fast setup, fast strike. And then we did do a play marathon. Bridgeland did have a play marathon that went to Thespians back in 2019, which did qualify for nationals.
Yes, it was all rights reserved. It was a student show, and we told them everything has to fit on the charter bus, everything has to fit in your hotel room, fit in the bus from the embassy to the Gaylord, and you've got to carry it all. So that was very easy. They picked tables that folded up, they picked lightweight furniture, even where one of them at the end of the show, they set it down and and like the top had come off by accident. And I think, so like, well, there that is, but we needed it for that moment. All of the programs were just one page, so that it was lighter, so it wasn't a huge program. So definitely the idea of everything had to be carryable for that show.
Absolutely. And then my experience with traveling shows, I used to work with a professional theater company in downtown Houston where we would rehearse in a warehouse, and then we would have to, when it's showtime, pick up the entire set, the whole production team, move it to the Hobby Center. For 5 years, I worked with the Masquerade Theater as the resident theater company for the Hobby Center, and we would then have to strike it all and then take it away. And so every other month, we would be taking a whole new show to the Hobby Center. So exciting.
It's an experience
It
for
is.
sure. I'm glad
We're excited to offer it to our students because this is like UIL on steroids. So
definitely a new experience and one that the students haven't done yet. This is our 5th year as a school, and again, this will be our third graduating class. So they're very eager to show what they can do.
They are hungry. They are hungry to perform and excited about this opportunity.
My father took the case against that son of a bitch.
I have agreed to pay her way if she will assist me as I travel to Paris.
Perhaps the man changed their hand during the stabbing?
Princess Dragomirov, how lovely to see you.
I worked with the family for about a year. I'm a governess.
The train is never sold out at this time of year. That is ridiculous.
There was a man in my room last night. He ran off, I'm sure of it.
I am not married, except to God Almighty who lives in heaven.
Mary, we're not doing anything wrong. You have to remember that.
You're that countess, aren't you? You're awfully pretty.
Eh bien, madame, you are not the only one who is anxious at the moment.
Hi, my name is Sheldon Ely, and I am the student director for Murder on the Orient Express. I am a senior this year, and I have been working with blocking and tuning up the scenes with the actors. I've also been working in props, costumes, and set design, as well as set construction. So I kind of have my hats in a bunch of different areas. And thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the show.
Our show will mount in 2 weeks, so by then it'll all be ready. If you'd like to see at that point more images, or if you're wanting to see even some more footage, we can certainly provide that to you if you're in question. All right.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.